Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this first day of early morning practice together. So let's begin very gently this morning, just beginning in a sitting, in a comfortable seated posture. Perhaps you have a blanket underneath you, perhaps you're sitting on a chair, making sure that your seated posture is comfortable. That you have support under your knees if you need so. Having a blanket around you, warmth, important. So, and in this comfortable seated posture together, beginning the journey to come inside without any pushing or pulling on ourselves. But as you gently close your eyes, there's a completely open, warm welcome from inside out, from outside in. A welcoming of your inner world. There is a friendliness already on the inside. This friendliness deep inside, welcoming you. So that we simply listen with no expectation. And gently, gently, perhaps you're this open, welcoming attention is touched by a quality of breath, gentle and smooth breath. And my invitation is to gently move your awareness to notice your belly, pelvis. Very gently. We don't narrow our attention in any way, still this wide open, kind attention. And just be curious about the sensation of a quality that you might call breath in your lower body, the pelvis and belly. And there is a sensation of a round, soft, egg-like place in this belly pelvis. A round and soft egg-like place. Something not solid, but a more energetic, fluid presence. And all the organs and tissues and bones of this belly pelvis immersed, held in this fluid, energetic, soft, round place. And we may even say that tissues and bones and organs here in belly pelvis are made of, and so also create this round, soft belly place. Breath coming and going without any doing. Then gently bringing your attention further down into the depth of your pelvis and making a connection with your sacrum, that last snakehead-like bone, the bottom of your spine, and the tailbone at the very tip of your sacrum without narrowing our attention, without any demand, but just opening to the sacrum and tail, and how the breath moves and touches sacrum and tail, how tail and sacrum are breathed. And then let's very slowly from this tail, sacrum, as though the tail would like to just very gently, like a feather, it gently tucks under a little. And does that create a fluid response all the way up through your spine? Don't do it, be open to it. And is there a curling and curving so that that occipital bone we tuned into last night at the base of the back of the head, there's this continuous communication from that tail, that tiny movement. The whole of the spine receives. As we said last night, if there's a movement in one place in the spine, simultaneously it's felt through the rest of the spine. And then if that tail tucked itself back, does that initiate then, a fluid response up through the spine of this elongating extension, tuning into the thoracic vertebra especially, and up through the cervical vertebra, touching that occipital bone, and this gentle extension. And the tail can still move. Please don't keep the tail fixed, but it has that orientation, yeah. And then again, it likes to tuck under, like a feather, gentle. We don't fix it there, it still has its own alive pulsation, but it's orientated to that tucking under and that curling and curving. And then again, the tail then tucks the other way back, just a tiny bit, just a little movement, no big movements in the tailbone. And there's that extension unraveling upwards. And coming back then gently to your round, soft belly pelvis place and center that supports and allows the rest of your spine, that supports the rest of your spine to be at ease. And then let's very gently take your hands, take your arms and rest your fingertips on the earth, touching the ground with your fingers, soft wrists, soft elbows, soft shoulder blades, soft head. And then floating, let's take one hand, one arm that loves to grow. If we bring our other hand to this lower body, side body. How it unravels from here, this lower lobe of your lung area. And then this, as the arm continues, when it gets to this 90 degrees, there's this area, your middle lobe, all through the chest, and behind into the ribs and into the armpit, that slides on your lower lobe. And then the upper lobe coming in, the upper lobe of your lung that's underneath the collarbone and loves, and also speaks to your neck, to the cervical vertebra, sliding and liquid. All three lobes, sliding and gliding, voluminous, soft. For the arm, fingertips soft and reaching into space. And this other hand then can rest on the earth. And we don't pull our arm. This lower lobe of the lung, middle lobe, upper lobe, the arm follows as they reclaim their softness and buoyancy. And then gently, gently coming back. Resting that hand on the earth. And then let's orientate to the other arm. And it's like, it doesn't lift from your shoulder and jaw. Let this lower lobe of your lung initiate. The arm floating up, and then the lower lobe and the middle lobe as you get to this 90-degree place, this middle lobe that's there under your chest, your ribs, and up into the armpits. So lower lobe, gliding, sliding and gliding on middle lobe, sliding and gliding on lower lobe. And then this upper lobe, all the way under the collarbone, softly into the neck, still connected to middle lobe, buoyant, fluid, soft, voluminous. So this arm, no doing in the muscles, in the shoulder joint, freedom all the way, the softness, voluminous, lateral side body here. So as the arm gently, the hands, the fingers, reach into space, softly communicating. Only the fingers, no reaching or pulling through the arm. And the neck and the head included. And then gently, gently and slowly from the lower lobe, coming back, middle lobe, upper lobe, the arm supported, initiated through these lobes of your lungs. Great. And let's do that one more time on each side, feeling here, lower lobe, middle lobe, soft, voluminous, this deep body, deep body. And how the neck and head respond from lower lobe, middle lobe, sliding and gliding, upper lobe. Be curious how the neck and the head connected to tail. And when you're ready, coming to the other side one more time. Initiating from the lobes of the lungs that occupy, they take up a lot of space from front to back. And we find our connection to this lateral, our side body, like a fish. Fish, they communicate and relate to space around them through their side body. No. Gently and slowly coming back. There's possibility of a beautiful massage for your deep belly, these digestive organs. Coming back to this soft egg-like place. And then let's change our position. Coming to your mat if you're not already on your mat. Maybe having a blanket for warmth. Let's start lying on our back, knees bent, feet on the ground. And bringing your hands to this round, soft belly pelvis place. Eyes open or eyes closed. Noticing your contact with the earth to all the places of the body that are resting on earth. Back of the head, soft, softening, deepening. In its contact with the earth. That lower jaw softening. The ears can drop back towards the earth. Softness at your ears and those tiny temporal bones underneath the ears, softening. And so the ears also are breathed, and the tissues and bones underneath the ears softening and are being breathed. Noticing any tiny little responses through your midline, perhaps noticing what's happening at your sacrum and your tail. Open, warm, kind attention, no demand. Tiny little pulsations you might be noticing. And anything wave-like and soft. soft and smooth breath. And letting your attention rest again down, gently, gently. Bring your attention softly down into this soft, round, egg-like place in belly pelvis. Something energetic. It may even glow. And then noticing your pelvic bone on one side of your body. From the top, the rim, that bony part you could feel with your hand if you brought your hand to the top of the pelvis on one side. You can feel that upper rim all the way through to your sit bone. So perhaps your hands gently resting on that pelvis on one side. So you can receive the presence of this pelvic bone. Touch. Is movement. This touch allowing you to feel the aliveness of your pelvic bone, its presence, the trillions of cells, communities of cells, breathing from that rim, that top of your pelvic bone, all the way to the sit bone. And there's a softness in your groin. And we feel this quality of how the pelvic bone is separate to your spine. It has its own movement. And then bringing your hand to the other pelvic bone. Maybe you have done so already. And with that touch there, receiving the pelvic bone on the other side. So we start also to understand and relate, very often we're given the words pelvic bowl. And there's this idea of it just being one big solid thing, and it's not at all. There are two separate sides to the pelvis. One pelvic bone on one side, independent to the pelvic bone on the other. And that these two pelvic bones are not fused with the spine, they are separate. There's a joint between each pelvic bone and the sacrum, the sacroiliac joint. So the relationship of the pelvis, the health of movement in the pelvis on each side of your pelvis is healthy. and free, and supports the freedom of your sacrum to float there. For the sacrum to be soft and breathed, for the tailbone to be soft and breathed. So that sit bone on this other pelvic bone side. And now starting to be curious about how if those sit bones, it's like they are little fins of a fish. They have that kind of movement. It's soft, feathery movement, orientating towards your feet. They're communicating towards your feet. We don't fix, they're not fixed. There's this soft, feathery, or fish fin-like. And notice if that creates, is there a response through both sides of your pelvis? Is there a very gentle movement, like wave-like? Washing through. There's a gentle rocking of the pelvis that's rocking around your acetabulum, the acetabulum around the top of the femur bones, those leg bones. So pelvis, very intimate, not just with the sacrum, but with our legs. And how does those femur bones go with that gentle rocking? That ball and socket joint free. How does that touch the knees and down through the lower legs into the feet? And those sit bones still curious about the feet. So something of feet, wide open feet, opening. Is there an opening through wide open feet? A relationship with ground growing. And then let's float up one knee. And let's do this without it being your thigh bone, without it being your thigh that brings the knee up. Could it be it's initiated through your sit bone, pelvis, aliveness? The whole of that pelvis floats the knee up. And we don't fix the pelvis on this side. Yeah, and there's that continuous sense of soft pelvis on this side, that soft movement, the aliveness of your sit bone. And you might start to feel how that's already including all the deep tissue in your side of lumbar spine and into soft pubic bone and belly. And maybe we could start to, might the legs start to unravel? And can you do that from the pelvis, not the knee, not the thigh bone, but from the pelvis, from that soft, deep lumbar, and your tail and sacrum are free. We're not undoing the leg from tail or sacrum either. So the knee simply opens. It doesn't have to. We don't force anything. The foot opens. There's no tensing in the knee or the back of the knee. It's a deepening through the knee, a deepening knee and a deepening ankle and an opening foot. For all the muscles and tissues to be soft, and everything its origin in deep pelvis. And then gently, and we can gently as well, perhaps the heel bone here. And by all means, have your knee bent and your foot on the ground, or the knee bent and the foot tucked in. And gently, gently, wherever we are, just rotating the heel very gently from one side to the other. And how does that relate all the way down through into the depth of pelvis and that ball and socket joint? And there's this long and deep side of spine from where the leg begins and in deep belly. Let's collect that leg back in. Hold the knee for a moment. Just hand resting on the knee. We're not pulling it into the chest. There's that gentle touch of the knee. And just noticing what speaks to you on an exhalation that spirals down through this thigh bone into deep hip pelvis. As that exhalation lands in deep hip, ball and socket joint, and continues out of the back and spreading into your pelvis on this side. Exhaling, thigh bone dropping, melting into hip and socket joint, out of the back, the exhalation spreading through side of pelvis on this side and side of spine. And then slowly bringing that foot back down to the earth. Noticing now is what's the quality of one side of body, one leg and hip and pelvis and spine to the other. Is that contact of the foot on the ground now, is it more alive? And the feeling of soft fluid connections up through that leg, happening without our doing, up into that hip, pelvis and side of spine. And into deep belly center. And then again from the other leg, finding the pelvis, the pelvic bone, tailbone reaching to the feet, the upper rim of the pelvis alive, this soft presence of your pelvic bone allows, and soft inner groin allows the knee to come towards you, not from the thigh bone or knee, but from deep pelvis. You can bring your hands in as I'm doing to feel the presence of this movement that we can't do with the pelvis. Its presence is movement. The cells liquid and soft, free. So how is it? Curious. What's it like on this side? If this leg unravels, notice if there's a tendency that you're somehow the muscle in the leg or the knee or the bone want to take the leg up and give back down into the pelvis again, back down into deep, soft belly pelvis between that soft navel to pubic bone area. Don't push against the body or pull in any way. The body opens. If you give it time, you might want to bring your hands behind the thigh to support. And that touch of the hands, the back of the thigh, what does that offer of softening? Foot and knee opening, ankle opening. Beautiful. Soft sleeve of the leg. And then again, let's gently rotate the heel bone very slowly from side to side. That creates a rotation all the way down into that hip and socket joint. Maybe your knee is bent to do this. Please. Honoring what your body needs. And being curious the whole time about this deep, soft pelvis on this side, all of the organs and tissues underneath and inside this pelvic bone on this side, and all the way through the spine on this side. And then slowly from the pelvis again, from the pelvis, from side of spine, deep belly, letting that knee bend, resting your hand on the knee for a moment, not pulling it towards your chest, that contact of the hand on the knee, and that out breath spiraling down through your thigh bone, inviting it to drop into that ball and socket joint. What happens through the pelvic bone in response? A soft spreading of the exhalation through pelvic bone, deep pelvis, side of spine into deep belly. Exhaling, spiraling down and out through the back, into the earth, through the ball and socket joint, and then down, back and out and into earth, and spreading through deep pelvis and side of spine. And so then from pelvis, not knee, not thigh bone, but the pelvis allows the foot to come to the earth. And now just noticing the quality of both feet on the earth and your hands at this lower belly pelvis place. Is there what speaks to you of tiny movements, tiny gatherings, and the presence of sacrum on the earth? Smooth and soft breath. Smooth and soft breath. And then let's roll onto our side. And slowly coming up. And see how it is. And then come onto all fours. Hands, as we tuned into last night, not pushing against the earth, but this connection of the hands, their contact. Notice the contact of the hands on the earth. Now the earth supports this dialogue through contact of hands with the earth. So there's a lightening up through the arms. So there's no holding ourselves up through the arms, but this ease and lightness. And how is the pelvis? And if we imagine those sit bones orienting towards the feet, and at the same time the tail reaching back, does that initiate this extension, this reach up through the spine? the reach of the head. And then if those pelvic bones follow the tuck of the tail like a feather, a gentle feather, already sending a soft fluid response through the spine for a gentle curving and curling. It's very soft. And we don't do it. There's no pulling and pushing through the arms and the hands. It's all initiated from tail and your two pelvic bones, allowing and going with it. The aliveness of those sit bones. No collapsing, a deep belly, navel through to pubic bone place, but a collecting and condensing through front spine. Soft, feathery tucking already. The spine, fluid and soft. Each pelvic bone on each side responding like wings gathering, collecting back and in. And then the tail, the sit bones, reaching behind. Softness at your groin, soft, deep belly, pelvis. And then how would it be? Either by sitting back first and bring your foot, let's take my socks off at this point, and bringing one foot to the earth. Maybe you need a block on each side of your foot so that your hands can rest and you're not pulling in any way on your arms and therefore through your neck and spine, or maybe the hands. Can be here and finding those wide open feet talking to the earth. That feedback up through the legs, spiraling up to deep knee and to deep hips and side of spine for you to come up. Ease. And then here, let's feel this ease and slowness and lightness through this beautiful lower body. Both feet, wide open feet, one foot rested on the earth, and by all means have something underneath this back leg knee, a soft blanket and we're just that exhalation that spirals through lumbar spine to quivering tail, spreading down through both hips, spiraling through both thigh bones, knees, lower legs, deep ankles, finding wide open feet into the earth. The out breath goes. And there's already a feedback loop coming back up through the heel bones, legs, knees, thighs, into those ball and socket joints, into tail, and those two sides of your pelvis are still free. You never fix them. Is there something of a soft hum of breath continuously breathing these two sides of your pelvis? There's a gentle hum of movement the whole time, feeding the freedom of your spine here to be light and at ease. And then let's come down with the hands, bringing that foot to join the other. And resting here on all fours for a moment. And just remembering, can I reclaim those wide open feet, and how the sit bones reaching back, the tail tucking back for that extension, that fluid response, condensing through front spine, the reach of the head. Nothing, we're not doing anything with the arms or the hands. There's no pulling and pushing on the spine. It's all from the tail. That feathery tucking under already, the spine goes with, but that moment, that feathery tucking under, already the spine responding. No pulling and pushing against your arms and hands. Yeah. Notice how the sit bones and your pelvic bone on each side, moving with, following freedom of the spine, fluid movement. Notice where you are. You're noticing sides of spine, those beautiful lateral side bodies, as well as anywhere else through your spine. And this quality of long and deep back of waist, perhaps coming in, that lumbar area. And then bringing the foot, the other foot, bringing the blocks in for your hands if you so need. And we find our way up because of our relationship to earth through those feet, that rebounding force coming up as we give to gravity. So here, this ease through our legs, ease through our base, ease and lightness. And that first point of contact, your feet, wide open feet on the earth, breathing with the earth, so that that force of gravity drawing us downwards, so that there's a lightness and there's a buoyancy and fullness of ourselves. A simultaneous force drawing us upwards and downwards, creating this spiraling, organizing, softness, roundness, breath in all ourselves. We're not straight lines. Feel your volume here. Feel the space that your cells fill. And that freedom of your pelvic bones on each side, not fixing them. Softness through the tops of your thighs. Depth and softness, these tops of your thighs. Great. Slowly, that beautiful spine, soft and free. We come back, bring this knee back, and let's just fold. Yeah, beautiful. All the way. Perhaps your knees are slightly open. Folding, let your tail draw you. Let the head be light and free. Soft, fluid spine. All the way back. And maybe at first the elbows rest on the ground. So you're not pulling yourself out of your pelvis. Not pulling yourself out of your legs. So this soft, fluid spine finds its way to the earth. I'm going to sit up so you can hear me, but please stay in child or hare pose, really. We have the knees slightly open. And in case that's not available to you, if this is not a comfortable position, then my offering would be to bring a bolster in. You could bring your bolster in so that you have this support for the whole of your body and for your head, so that the back of your neck and your tail, your sacrum, are like a seesaw, they're balanced. We don't want the head crushing into the earth and crushing the neck and the sit bone and tail up like that. Definitely not. So find your way and resting here. And perhaps the last few breaths here, sending the exhalation spiraling through spine, lumbar spine, and finding the reach of your tail. In child pose, I'm sitting up so you can hear me. And how is the whole spine nourished by the weight? Listen for the feedback. Tiny pulsations and wave-like movements through your midline spine. And then when you're ready, sending another out breath. Through lumbar, through tail. Waiting for the response. And taking natural in and out breaths. Be breathed. And then very slowly, using that tail, that reach of your tail, as though your tail, your sacrum, becomes a huge dinosaur tail all the way, reaching all the way behind you. That huge dinosaur tail, so heavy, allows your spine to slowly come up. Soft reach of your head, supported by the reach of your tail. Soft reach of your head, supported by the deep reach of your tail into earth. And you come up to sit. Take a block and have a block underneath you if you need. And we should complete here today with a few breaths. So yeah, take a block, something underneath you so that we don't then crush and compromise all of the freedom and space that there may now be through this deep lumbar sacrum tail. Contact of your feet on the earth, hands on your knees, and bringing our hands into Apana Mudra. It's a cleansing mudra, and I'm just going to come closer so you can see. It's my middle finger and ring finger that are going to bend and touch my thumbs. So my index finger is free and my little finger is free. So, finishing here today, last couple of minutes, index finger free, middle finger free, and bending in the ring finger and the middle finger to touch the thumbs. And resting those hands, palms up or palms down. I recommend down. And it's releasing downwards into the earth. And you could, on each in-breath, you could say inside quietly, let. And on the out-breath, go. As you breathe in, silently saying let. And on the out-breath, silently into yourself inside, the word go. I'm imagining how the earth is absorbing and receiving, happily welcoming everything that you wish to let go, and no thinking about it, just trusting the trillions of cells in your body moved by this prana, this breath that knows in its harmony with nature, and letting go. And that contact with the earth through our lower body, allowing the lightness and freedom. Spine suspended and light. Sky above and space above, holding and supporting as we let go. So, thank you everybody. Namaste. And I very much look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Yeah, fantastic. Mm. Big hug.